Listen, I feel like that meme all over social media from Titanic that says it's been 84 years, because I feel like I've waited for this palette forever because it got stuck in customs. But I finally have the Cosmic Beauty Smoulder palette in my hands, and I feel like this look is really like giving the whole vibes of this palette. I had so much fun creating it. I had some mishaps while creating it that I had to fix, but I do plan on showing you guys how I got here, creating another look with you. But I am so excited to get into this, because this is more than just a neutral palette. It is a neutral palette with a twist, and you guys know I love a palette with a twist, so let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time here, my name is Heather, and I love all things makeup, but especially colorful makeup and indie brands. And if you happen to love those things too, I really hope you will stick around, subscribe, and don't forget to click the little bell so you can be reminded of all my future uploads, because you guys, it's almost fall. Like, I did my fall background because I like to have it up for a little while, plus we're already starting to see the fall launches, so it just makes sense for like YouTube reasons. But also I like to have it up for as long as I can, because I also want to have my Halloween stuff up for as long as I can, because those are my two favorite seasons, especially when it comes to the indie launches. I am like so in, so ready, so excited. But there's going to be tons of good videos, so like I said, make sure you subscribe. But we have to talk about this palette. Like I said, it took forever and a day to get to me, but honey, she is worth it, because we have a neutral palette with a twist. I will be doing comparisons at the end of the neutrals and the culturals palettes in case you guys are interested. Now, I know there's already a ton of videos up on this palette, and but I have to put my 2 cents in. I'm just here for the inspiration and to give you my thoughts, whether or not you decide you do want to pick it up. But if you do want to pick it up, I will give you some details on this launch. So one of my favorite things about Cosmic Beauty is their palettes are really affordable when you consider the price of an indie palette. So theirs retail for around $39 US. Some of them are more affordable than that even, but this palette is so gorgeous. So the website says, introducing Smoulder with a nod to the 90s and early 2000s. This neutral color story with a wash of color makes it perfect for creating stunning smoky looks with a twist. Like I said, that is what I am here for. But our new 20 shade palette has 12 mattes, 8 metallics, and these include 2 strong shifty multichromes and 1 duochrome. And she is beautiful. I've had so much fun with it already. Like I said, I did have a little mishap with this first look, and I had to go back and like fix some stuff, and I did leave it in. That way I could show you guys like how to fix a look, maybe if you find yourself in the same situation that I was in. But not only do I love the way this turned out, but I'm really excited for look number 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the swatches, but let's go ahead now and move on to look number 1. This one took forever to get through customs. I didn't think I was ever going to get my hands on it, but it is finally here. And today I'm excited to play with it. We're doing another neutral palette from one of my favorite indie brands, and I'm excited to get into it. I feel like these shimmers in here really give it this extra twist, and if you know anything about me, you know that that is what I love the most. But before we get into that, I wanted to tell you about the cheeks and the lips today. So for blush, I am wearing this one. This is the Sephora Blush palette, and this is in the shade 01 Candy Lover. And I have on all 3 shades, and I think it's really, really pretty. But for highlighter, I did 3, and I didn't mean to do all that. So I wanted to start out with the pink one. This one is from Unearthly Cosmetics. It's in the shade Awaken. I love them. They're from the Spring Magic collection. But then I did want to add a little bit of mint, so I tried to add the shade from DIEVERUNE Cosmetics in the shade April Showers. Now when you look at this in the pan, it gives off mint, but when you actually like swatch it out, it's more white. So that is why I decided to go with a 3rd shade. Now you can see a little bit of that mint in there, but it's not a whole lot. So because of that, I added the 3rd shade, which is Buttermint from NYX Cosmetics, and I came up with this creation, and she's beautiful. So for lips, I don't know if this is what I want to keep on my lips, but for now it's working. So we're doing the shade Bear from Melt, and this is the shade Pistachio, and it's from Tower 28. But now we must hop on and do the look, because I'm excited for this eye look today. I had a lot of fun swatching this palette. I wasn't sure it was going to get here today. I was hoping, but I'm glad it's finally here, because it really did take forever. I'm still waiting on 2 palettes from LAMINATION that have been stuck in customs forever as well, and it's like kind of annoying, but what can you do, you know? So we're going to start this out with an E06, and I'm going to go into the shade Kindle. And I just want to put this here in the inner corner. And you guys know, Cosmic Brushes is one of my favorite brands, and I've been excited to see like what their next launch was going to be, because they've only launched one other palette so far this year, and it's been the Lovers palette, which I love. So I wanted to start like with this lighter shade in the front half, but I also want to add a little bit of this shade Intimate, just to turn this a little more like mauve-y pink. And I might have to like go back through and add stuff later and kind of tweak it a little bit after I get the rest of it done. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the lower lash line. Okay, so now I'm just going to leave this like this. It does need more blending and stuff, but for now we're good. So now I want to do this shade Spontaneous, and it's like kind of a cool tone blue situation. So pretty. So I'm going to do this in the back half of the crease, and the shade is so pretty. When I saw these shades beside each other in the pan, I was instantly drawn to them. And this shade is like really pigmented. I'm going to go ahead actually and add this to the lower lash line with the E11. That way I can get this mapped out correctly, like the way that I want it. Okay, that makes it easier. That way I know how to like put the shade down and I can get the shape right. Because sometimes I tend to go a little too far. I'm going to switch though to the E08. Take it up a little higher. This shade is laying down a lot deeper than I expected it to, which is not a bad thing, but I think I might go in with some of this shade Charisma to help blend and to give a base up here, because like I said, that shade is deeper than I expected it to be, which I am mad at. You guys know I love like smoky looks, smoky like deep shades. They make me super excited. They're my favorite kind of looks. I'm so excited about these shimmers in this palette. Like this shimmer, oh you guys, that is so pretty. I cannot even freaking stand it. I love it so much. I think it's so stunning. Okay, so now I think I'm going to switch to the E25 from Sigma. and use this brush to really pack that on. That way I'm going to get that full level of dimension. And I can just blend it out. So yesterday I filmed my last look with the palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. Oh my god, that palette is so delicious. I had so much fun with it. It's so beautiful. There was a lot of fun palettes this month actually. Well, last month in July. Okay, so now I think I want to brighten up this inner corner a little bit. I did go back in and like do some blending there. I feel like it needed a little more pink added into it, but I do want to brighten. So we're going to go into the shade Shy, and I'm just using the E01, and look at the pigmentation. Like, honey, she don't play. So pretty. Okay, and in true Heather fashion, I am going to deepen up just a bit. So we're going to do, I'm stuck. Like, do I do Ashes? I mean, it would be fitting because, you know, the name, but I could do Chemistry. I like Chemistry. Let's do that. Let's go bold. Both shades are beautiful, but you know, I love a black, and their matte blacks are really good. So I'm just using the E27. Like, look, I even tapped the brush, and I barely even dipped it. I'm going to do a little on the lower lash line as well, I think. So I finally got my beauty room cleaned up and like reorganized, dusted all my shelves. Like, I spent a whole day up here rearranging and like decluttering and all of that stuff. Now I'm waiting on a tripod to hang my monitor like over beside me, because right now it's in front of me and I think it distracts me, and sometimes I look at the monitor a lot. So I'm wanting to like put it over to the side, but I'm thinking like once I get that right and the room is like exactly the way that I want it and the way it's gonna stay, maybe we could do another room tour. It's been a few years since I've done one, since like I first moved my room up here to the attic, and I was planning on moving my room down to our spare room, but our niece moved back in with us. I know a lot of you guys already know about that, but her and her boyfriend moved in with us, and they are expecting their first child, so we are trying to make room in our lives and in our house, you know, for a baby. So I've been getting rid of a lot of stuff, and honestly it feels very, very good, because I'm very bad at getting rid of things because I've lost things a lot in my life. So I tend to hold on to stuff for far too long. Like, I was keeping boxes from all of the stuff that I bought and was like storing them in these cabinets I have alongside my room, and it was a nightmare. So like I threw all that stuff away. Well, actually I recycled it, but same thing, but still. And it feels so good. It's like I come up here now and I'm like just smiling. I'm just so happy. So I'm just using my E08. It has some of that color I used in the crease on it, and using it to just buff out this black. It's gonna fade it some and just really just blend it in with that blue, and I love the way that looks. It's giving the whole like Smoulder vibes, you know? So now, you guessed it, we're doing the Shine On from CLIONADH. So I'm just gonna put some of this on the lid. Okay, so I don't know like how many shimmers I want to do. I was thinking of maybe adding this in with the one I want to use, but I might just do like the one on the majority of the lid. So the shade that I'm really into using today, which you might have already guessed, is this shade here called Ignite. And I actually real quick want to do a comparison. I think it's the Wonderland palette. One of them has a shade that reminds me of this one, and I want to compare. So the palette was the Winter Wonderland palette. So here it is, but this is the shade I was thinking about. And swatching them, it's actually kind of cool. So This is Winter Solstice. And this is the shade Ignite from Smoulder. As you can tell, they're different. But this is the shade Embers, the other one I showed you earlier. So this shade is like if you mix these two together. Let me show you what they all look like separate. So this is them. This is the shade from the Winter Wonderland. This is Embers, and this is, this is Ignite, and this is Embers. So these two are from the new palette. This is from the Winter Wonderland. I feel like if you mix the two from the Smoulder palette, you could get that shade from Winter Wonderland. But let's check. There's Ignite again. That shade is so pretty. But let's blend it with this one. I mean, yeah, kind of. It's more strong like the Flip, but they definitely are very, very similar. That's really cool. But yeah, they are different. If you have both palettes, you'll be able to tell too. They're very different shades. So the shade I want to go in with is that one shade I showed you, Ignite. And I want to put this all over the lid. This shade is so pretty. Like, so pretty. It ties those two shades together so well. Oh, I love that. But I don't know if I want to add something darker out here. So I only have like 3 choices of the deeper shades, and it would be one of these. Now, like this one kind of makes sense, you know? Maybe we'll add a little bit of that. That's the shade Smoulder. Just for the sake of like actually using more shades, let's do it. I did take some of that shade back further. Taking Smoulder, I'll mix some of that into this. Yeah, that really adds that depth. And once I get that all blended out nicely, it'll be really pretty, hopefully. So I grabbed some of Ignite on an E01 just to put here on the rest of the lid. I'm definitely going to need something there to help brighten. I wish there was like a baby pink in here, because I think that would have been really cool too. So let's use this little CLIONADH brush. And I'm going to take some of that same shade on the lower lash line. And we'll see what it looks like when it's put on this pink. Yeah, I like that. But we definitely need something to lighten up. So we're going to have to use this shade Swoon. It's like one of those iridescent toppery shades, which is kind of cool because I do like the pink in the inner corner, so it's not going to change the color, I'm thinking, anyway. So let me just clean off the E01. So using the E01, I'm going to tap some of that off. I'm going to use this here in the inner corner. I might need to spray, even though you guys know I don't like spraying my inner corner shimmers, but I might need to this one. Oh, that's why. Now it looks like a blob there. And it made it kind of silver, and that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't really care for this lid situation. That shade is beautiful, but I don't like this at all. So I'm going to take the shimmers off, and I'll be right back. I have an idea on how to change this in a way that I will like it, but we'll get into that. Okay, so what I did was I cleaned the lid off, and I filled the back part back in, and I took the pink in more. So I'm only putting the glitter glue in the center because I'm gonna let this pink be like the inner corner shade. So far the only thing I can say is I do wish there was like a soft pink, you know, like a soft pink shimmer. But I am a person who likes a shimmery inner corner highlight, and again, you do have that white one, but it's just not the vibe I was going for this look. You know what I mean? So we're going to go back into Ignite, which is still beautiful. And I'm just going to tap this in the center. And I think I'm just going to use this shade this time. And take it back here a little. And then use a clean finger to kind of run it towards the front. And I'm going to keep switching fingers just to shear it out on the edges. Something like that. And I'll just use a brush, like the brush I used, which was the E27, to blend. Yes, that's it. That makes sense to me. Now that I love a lot. So, no, this back half's pretty much blended, so I really don't need to do anything to that, really. I mean, I'll just use what's on the brush to blend. But I do want to take that little CLIONADH brush, and I'm going to pick up some more of that shade and put it in the center on the lower lash line. I did fix the lower lash line as well and took that silver off as much as I could. But we'll just tap some of this here to help those two shades kind of merge together. And that is beautiful. Now this is a look that I can be happy with, but even though it makes the video kind of longer to keep the mistakes in, I do like to keep them in, because I feel like for when it shows, it happens to everybody, and 9 times out of 10 there are always a way you can fix a look. But I'm gonna go finish this off camera and I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look. I feel like this look really did come together like so well, but off camera I added some of that black shadow and made like a wing liner situation, because I really wanted to like lean in to the Smoulder aspect of this palette. But then I did some black liner. I used the one from GLISTEN, and I used the Max Stack mascara, the waterproof version, and did the melt lashes. This is from the second Bailey Sarian collab, and I think they are so cute. I love them so much, but I love the way this look turned out. I love how smoky it is, and I'm really glad that I went back and fixed like the lid situation in a way that I was happy with. I don't know why I'm stuttering. But for lip liner, I did change it out. I changed it to the In Real Life Filter Finish Lip Definer from Revolution. And this is in the shade Frappuccino Nude, and it's like the perfect shade to match that inner corner like matte shade, and I love it. I did the same gloss too on top. But so far I've had a lot of fun with this palette. I do love this look very, very much. I think it's so pretty, but I am really excited to create tomorrow's look, because I'm definitely going to be playing with that shade and maybe some of these I mean, they're all cool tones, but some of these are more like neutral leaning, and I'm thinking of maybe leaning in that direction a little bit, but we'll have to see. Maybe do a different type of eye look as well. I don't know, but let's go ahead and move on now to look number 2. So I am in love with this cheek combo. So for blush today, I used the shade Spice Latte from DANESSA MYRICKS. You know, it's one of my top favorites, but the highlighter is really, really stunning. And I bought this off of a video that Angelica Nikovas did raving about this product. I think she did like a full face of NARS, and this is a new product from them. It is the Light Reflecting Luminizing Powder Highlighter, and I got the shade Euros, and it is freaking stunning. So glossy and wet looking, but it's not like showing texture as much as like some of the others do. It's beautiful. It's kind of like the Fenty one, but dare I say it might even be a little smoother. I think it's so pretty. They also have several colors on there as well. I think I picked up the lightest shade this time because I do get a lot of those like golden champagne ones, and I'm a pale girly, so I was like, you know, let's get a different color. But for lips, I did the ABH liner in the shade Cool Brown, and I topped it with Smooth Chalk from NARS as well. But I'm excited for this eye look today. It's going to be a fun one, hopefully. But I'm excited for this look today. So I'm going to start out using the E06, and we're going to dip into this shade here called Sultry. It's more of a cool tone, leaning neutral shade. And I'm going to run this all along the crease. This is more of like the deeper shade that I'm using. But I do want this look to be kind of dark. I'm gonna kind of do a halo eye, but it's not gonna be a halo eye at the same time. Hopefully that'll make sense, like more towards the end once we like get to the shimmers and stuff. But because I wanted the mattes to go all the way across. But this is gonna be a very like dark glam look for a doctor's appointment today. But I did want to go ahead and like add some of the depth here and start with one of the deeper shades. And then we'll move on. So using an E08, I want to dip into the shade Slow Burn. So I know this is like a kind of romance type of palette. I don't know why I said it like that, romance. But it kind of reminds me of Reading. And I heard Betty Jean say the same thing. And I totally get the same vibe as what she's saying because the shade names. And it kind of makes me like it even more. Because you guys know, I've been in a huge like reading kick for the last couple of years. And I can't stop. Right now I'm reading the Bree Taggart series by Melinda Lee, and I love that series. I read it before, but it's been years ago, and she's come out with a bunch of like new books in that series since the last time I read it. So I'm rereading it. I'm on book 2 now, but it's really good. I love her. I switched over to the E03 too, but I haven't been able to read thrillers for years because I have PTSD and things like that do trigger me, but I seem to be doing a lot better about it. Like if I start to feel anxious or something, I'll put it down, or if it's like too much to where I can't like continue on the book, sometimes I will have to like look for spoilers, which kind of sucks, but you gotta, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do when you have anxiety. But I've been enjoying them again. It's been nice. Let me know if you have any favorite thrillers down. Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear what your favorites are. But I'm just gonna keep building up this shade Slow Burn. It kind of matches my shirt perfectly, but I just looked down and I noticed there's like a big stain on it. So I'm gonna have to change before I leave to go to the doctor, which sucks. I stain all my clothes. It's so annoying. I don't really know if this lip liner goes with this eye look very well though. It's kind of too like orange leaning. We'll have to see. Maybe the shimmer will make it make sense, but I really don't think it's going to. I need something a little cooler. I should have pulled out one of my Unearthly ones. But now we're going to dip back into that shade Sultry, that deeper one, and work on building this up in the crease. Honestly, the matte should be really easy to work with in this look. And this palette in general, personally, I do feel like neutrals are easier to work with than colorful eyeshadow. They just blend better because they're more like flesh toned types of shades, depending on your undertone too. But I love me some colorful eyeshadow, you guys know. I really wish I had an in-between shade, but we do have this shade Flushed, which might go as well. So I'm gonna use the E03 with some of that and do it like kind of like an in-between these two shades. so it's not like such a stark difference. And I'm just using the E03 so that I can like kind of fluff it in between those. And then use slow burn to blend it out. So I'm just using the E25, and I'm putting some of that deep shade here on the inner and the outer part of the lid as well. Just kind of like a halo situation, but kind of not. I want like a spotlight with the shimmers, but I want the mattes to be like a normal eye look. I'm also going to dip into some of the shade Flirty and just use that to really like get this blend perfectly smooth. Like the gradient is 10 out of 10. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and do the same exact thing on the lower lash line, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that that's done, I want to use the E08 and dip into the shade Chemistry, which is just the matte black. And I'm gonna just use this to kind of line the lower lash line as tight as I can get to the waterline. Like I said, we're going for very smoky. Then I'll use the E11 to blend the black. Now that it's blended, I'll go back in and re-intensify it at the very edge. Yeah, that's really cool. I always love a black, like, smoked out eye. I think they're so pretty. But we're going to switch over to the E25 from Sigma, and I'm going to dip into that too. Their black is so good. I think I talked about that yesterday, but they always are, like, so pigmented. And I just want to smoke out mostly the outer and inner corners. I feel like I do need to brighten up this inner corner, but the only light shade is this one. I'm worried it's going to pull pink because it does have a slight pink tint to it, which could also like make it a better brightening shade, but we'll just have to try it. But yeah, that's good. It doesn't look pink next to these shades. That definitely helped, but I will take that lighter shade that I use, Slow Burn, and add some color back into this too, because I don't want it to be like too light. I'll probably use like my highlighter for some inner corner stuff. Honestly though, for me to be working with such deep colors, I only got like a few little flakes of fallout, and they did pretty good at wiping away as well. Okay, so now where I have this gap, I do want to wipe it off, and yes, I'm going to use a wipe. I don't typically use makeup wipes on my face at all unless I'm doing something like this, because they are very irritating. But I need to clean off a spot, or this black will like muddy up the concealer when I try to like add another layer. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, add that little layer of concealer, and I'll be right back, and we're gonna get into shimmers. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the Shine On from CLIONADH and just put some of this here in the very center of the lid, and I'll just tap it out on the edges of the black. But now for the part I'm excited for. I want to use this shade Embers in the palette, the one I like swooned over yesterday. But I'm hoping that it doesn't look pink, but I have a feeling it's going to, because it has like that peach, orange, gold, green, fiery flip. It's so pretty. But I would love it to stay more on the gold, but I think it's gonna be more on the pink. But I'm just gonna place this all on this patch. That is so freaking pretty. I was going to use another shimmer, but I don't know if I want to now. Maybe we'll just do this and then like blend the black in on the sides. That's so freaking pretty. Oh my goodness. And it's giving that fiery flip. With my whole entire heart. I love that so much. But see what I mean? Like, it's kind of a halo, but not really at the same time. But that is so stunning. I kind of like to take it back and forward a little further than what it actually goes. That way you can see the wraparound of it. And then I will just use the previous shade, the blacks, to blend. I have an eyelash going down in my eye. Let's use the E27, and I'm gonna go back into that black. I've made my eye water now, which is annoying. If it messes up my eye look, I'm gonna be so sad. But I just want to kind of help make this blend out. But that is so cool. I love that. Now I'm going to use a E30 pencil brush and go back in with that black shade and just kind of help these two mesh. So I like to go back in with the black or the deep shade that I'm using and blend, and then sometimes I'll just pick up the shade on my finger and then tap it and then use a clean finger to tap as well until it blends the way that I'm happy with. But that is so pretty. So this is the eye look, and honestly I think smoking this out with some black liner and stuff is really gonna make this come together in the best way. I love this. It was so simple, but the shimmer on the lid really makes it look like just so outstanding in my opinion. I think it's beautiful. This one might be my actual favorite. Now for the lip, I'm definitely gonna be changing that out because for me it just doesn't go, but I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look. I'm back with the finished look and I love it so much, especially the eye look. I just think it really came together, and I don't know, to me it's giving Smoulder. They both were, but this one is definitely my favorite. 10 out of 10. I love it so much. So I changed a few things about the face. I wanted to lean more into like the peachy aspect of the eye look. There's a little pink, a little peach. So I added this blush. This is Just a Crush from Fenty, and this is their suede powder blush, and it's really, really pretty. I love it so much. But I don't use powder blush a whole lot because I'm into my creams right now, but this is a really nice formula and I love it. So I was happy to add it to the cheeks. But I also used another highlighter. I did the Space Age Prophecy highlighter from CLIONADH. I felt like it really goes good with that shimmer on the lid. And for lips, I used two liners, both from ABH. I did the shade Peach Amber, which is a little darker. I'll show it to you. It's a little darker, but I used the shade Baby Roses to blend it out, and I love the combo together. But then I topped it with this gloss from Morphe. This is the Drip Glass Glazed High Shine Lip Gloss in the shade Beige Beam, and I think it's such a pretty combo, and it really goes well with the eye look. It lets the eye look really be like center focus, and I love that. But for the rest of the eyes, I used the black from Spectrum and the MAC Sack mascara, but I mixed it with the Fan Fest to give me like a fuller lash, which I don't know why, because I did use lashes. I used the Melt ones again, the ones from Bailey Sarian, their collab, their second one. But I love this. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. But I had so much fun with this palette. This video was so much fun. I mean, I had a little bit of mishap with the first look, but it's just because I would prefer like some lighter shades in the palette as well. And I mean, you do have those lighter mattes and you have that like light iridescent shade up here, but I don't know. That's just being picky, but all in all, the quality of the mattes is fantastic. The shimmers are beautiful. Now, I did use all of the mattes in the palette, I'm pretty sure, but there are still like a few shimmers that I need to use in this palette. But so far, it feels like the same great quality that Cosmic Beauty always has, and I'm so glad that I picked it up because these looks really are like so smoky and gorgeous and fun, which are my favorite types of looks. And I love that I was able to add like the pop of color in there. That way it's like true to what I really love about makeup, so it makes me really happy. But all in all, I give this a 10 out of 10, at least so far. But stay tuned for my August ranking, and I'll be able to share my like full complete thoughts on this launch with you. But so far, I do recommend it. Just keep in mind that there are a few shimmer shades I have not used yet. But let me know what you guys think. Did you pick up this palette? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I'm sure everyone else would appreciate hearing from you down below in the comments just as much as I do. But thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way till the end. It really does mean a lot, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out, and until next time, bye.